They keep that on there till almost the very end in order to prevent the accumulation of any gases, I guess.
That's right. They like to keep replenishing the liquid hydrogen and oxygen. Of course, it's so cold that they have to it keeps evaporating. They have to keep replenishing it.
36 seconds. T-minus 2 minutes, 40 seconds and counting.
This will be the second launch for Ken Mattingly. He went up 10 years ago in April of 1972, but it'll be the first ride into space for Hank Hartsfield.
Fuel cell ground supply of oxygen and
about 2 minutes away.
There goes that big cover on the tip of the external tank being removed now. The spacecraft is on its own internal electrical power, so she's pretty well self-contained.
The main engines have been moved to start position. The astronauts have cleared the caution and memory warnings in their onboard computers and verified there are no unexpected errors. T-minus 2 minutes and counting. The astronauts are configuring the auxiliary power units for liftoff.
NASA's going to be bursting with pride if this goes off just on the appointed second.
Flight pressurization underway.
Frank, I've said it before, and this may be the fourth launch, but it's always a first time, certainly for the guys on board and for most of the rest of us.
Start at T-minus 1 minute.
There they are, and their analysis of each other was very good. They're both extremely capable. They're not extremely outgoing, however, but they sure know how to get the job done. Columbia is really beginning to look at home.
20 seconds and counting. The liquid hydrogen tank is at flight pressure. Coming up on the 1 minute point in our countdown.
Coming up on T-minus 1 minute.
T-minus 1 minute and counting. The firing system for the sound suppression water system on the pad is armed.
Frank, my heart rate just went in the launch phase.
Yes. It's going to be a tremendous cloud of smoke when the water hits.
45 seconds. We're 14 seconds away from switching command of the countdown from the ground computers to the onboard computers.
This is little or no point, isn't it, to get past this 30-second mark.
T-minus 35 seconds. The GOX vent arm is fully retracted, and we're switching control of the countdown to the onboard computers. T-minus 25 seconds. The SRB hydraulic power units have started. T-minus 20 seconds and counting.
Little or no wind, we can expect lots of smoke.
T-minus 15.
10.
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6.
Little baby.
We have made it. 4, 3, 2, 1. And we have solid motor ignition and liftoff. Liftoff of America's Space Shuttle on its fourth mission, and we have cleared the tower.
There's that wall of flame it's riding on.
Houston now controlling mission control confirmed roll maneuver started. 20 seconds. Thrust looks good. 26 seconds. Roll maneuver completed. 30 seconds. 1 nautical mile in altitude. Throttling engines down to 65% now as programmed. 36 seconds. Platform status looks good. Mission control. 42 seconds. Columbia now 3 nautical miles in altitude. 46 seconds. Coming up on grade at maximum aerodynamic pressure on the vehicle.
A little more than a minute.
Columbia now
the separation of the solid fuel boosters.
56 seconds. Pass through max Q. Still looking good. Throttling engine. Give it a go. Throttle up. Mark 1 minute 10 seconds. Columbia now 7 nautical miles in altitude, 4 nautical miles downrange.
The people here at the Cape can still see it, Frank.
You can still see it. You can probably feel it.
20 seconds. Columbia now 9 nautical miles in altitude, 6 nautical miles downrange.
With shattering applause here in the firing room.
1 minute 30
Like a
seconds.
volcano that just
Columbia
blew
now
its
12
lid.
nautical miles in altitude, 9 nautical miles
The shock
downrange.
waves
Velocity
from
now
the
reading
rocket
39
going
feet
off
per second.
physically struck and shook the windows.
Next critical point is the burnout of the
But the applause here was unbelievable.
Oh, she's moving.
Houston, negative seats.
We're going to get the SRB separation soon.
just in about 10, 12 seconds.
Columbia now 21 nautical miles in altitude, 21 nautical miles downrange. 2 minutes, 3 seconds, standing by for solid rocket booster separation.
5 seconds, this is critical. And there they go. We can see.
And they drop off
2
the
minutes,
fall of the
14
Atlantic.
seconds, confirmed solid rocket booster separation.
Now she's on her
2
own
minutes, 20
engines and the
seconds,
external
onboard
tank for
guidance is
fuel.
converging this program. Columbia is now steering for a precise win on space.
They'll keep going with the external tank until 8 minutes and 50 seconds into the launch.
2 minutes,
drop
35 seconds. Columbia now 33 nautical miles in altitude.
That's really carrying the mail.
2 minutes, 43 seconds.
Northbound calls will be light due to a depressed trajectory.
That flame you see now is from liquid hydrogen and liquid oxygen. That's the main engine burning.
Two-engine towel capability.
Magnificent cameras to be able to capture this at this distance, too.
Columbia, Houston, you have 2-engine TOW capability. Roger, 2-engine TOW.
3 minutes, 12 seconds. That call up by Capcom Dave Grigg says that Columbia now has landing capability at Dakar Airport should one engine go out. 3 minutes, 20 seconds. Columbia now 44 nautical miles in altitude, 83 nautical miles downrange. A return status check and mission control by Flight Director Tom Holloway.
They're beyond the point of returning now to the Cape. If anything did happen, they would go on to Dakar, Senegal.
That's right. They have, if one engine failed, and of course there's no indication of that, obviously, they could land at Dakar, which is on the other side of, or on the western side of Africa.
We're going to see once again the replay now of the launch.
There was no wind, so we got perhaps the clearest view, Frank, because the smoke stayed to the side, and we could see the Columbia lift off right in between that tremendous double plume.
There it goes again. This is a replay.
There it is, and we'll just have it's just like framed by its own tail of smoke and flame.
That's what always strikes me, Gene. That wall of flame that lifts it right up. Look at it, reaches almost to the pad.
You can see almost every movement of it as it began to move away from the pad, and it began its roll program. And we felt here, perhaps greater than any other launch, the sound and the pressure effects as the booth just literally shook. It reminded me of the days of Apollo.
Yes. It's a pretty rocky ride, too, isn't it, in the early stages?
Well, it's here we go again. We see another shot of it.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6. We have main engine ignition. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Just disappears in the smoke and comes up out of it.
And liftoff.
This was the side view. Of course, we had the front-on view. Now you can see it roll here as it rolls to the right and then starts pitching out over the Atlantic as it gains altitude and speed.
It rolls almost immediately, Gene, doesn't it?
Almost as soon as it clears the pad, Frank, it starts that roll program to almost a full 90 degrees, I believe, or maybe more than that. But it is very rough, and it's very noisy for the crew. It's a combination of vibration and noise. The power, with the right wisdom behind this vehicle, that power can be harnessed to do almost anything we want.
Receive word that they have enough power now to go on into orbit.
They do now. They're coming up on 6 minutes.
For single engine TOW capability, Columbia now 58 nautical miles in altitude.
Columbia, Houston, you have single engine TOW capability.
Mark. 6 minutes, 12 seconds. That report from Capcom Griggs indicates if a two-engine failure occurred, Mattingly and Hartsfield are capable of an emergency landing at Dakar Airport.
That is if, but nothing like that has occurred yet.
Columbia now 58 nautical miles in altitude, 358 nautical miles downrange. Velocity now reading 15,400 feet per second.
Their profile takes them higher first, and now it's beginning to gain speed so rapidly you can hardly keep up with it.
40 seconds, trajectory plots and mission control still on target.
This is a live shot from one of the chase planes. You can still
6
see the
minutes, 48
contrails there
seconds.
in the
Columbia
sky
now
over
57
the
nautical
cable.
miles altitude, 412 nautical miles
The shuttle
downrange.
sure
Columbia
outdistances the
pitching
chase
over
plane in
now.
a hurry. We used to think 40,000 feet was high, but not anymore.
Altitude giving Columbia a
See
more
that speed
favorable
increase now? They're really on their back, still pointed upward a little bit, but as they're headed across the Atlantic, and the speed is
minutes,
increasing
5
almost
seconds.
by
Columbia now
increments of the speed of
50.
sound.
Standing by for single engine press to MECO.
You are single engine press to MECO.
Gene, how soon will they actually see the coast of Africa?
At this point in time, it should be coming over the horizon just about now, Frank, and of course they're on their back and they should have a beautiful view. They should see the coast right now.
7 minutes, 25 seconds. Columbia now 56 nautical miles in altitude, 515 nautical miles downrange. Velocity now reading 19,900 feet per second.
Here, Frank, what they do is, they, of course, to conserve the most energy, they try and gain altitude first, and then they actually sort of pitch down just a little bit to gain a little bit more speed as they get enough speed to stay in orbit, and then, of course, it pulses up to get to the right altitude.